So today we're going to make our first drawing on Onshape, and I can't tell you this enough. Creating drawings on Onshape is extremely easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out by going to Create, Document, and I'm going to call this My First Drawing. And I'm going to hit OK. When the user interface pops up, the first thing I want to do is come over to these three lines and change the Workspace units. I want to change the default length unit from inches to millimeters. I'm going to hit the check mark, and now my drawing is in millimeters. Now, right here in the center, we have these three work planes: a front work plane, a top work plane, and a right side work plane. What I want to do is I want to get rid of some of those so it's easier to understand. I want to use the top work plane, so I want to get rid of right and front. If I come over here to right, I can click on the little eyeball and it'll hide that one. Now the front view, I click on that eyeball and it makes that one go away. So now I can only see the top view. Now you can always turn these back on by clicking on the eyeball again. So now I want to sketch. A sketch is like a sheet of paper, and I want to put that piece of paper onto something. Well, a work plane is like a table. So I'm going to set my sketch on this work plane. So it says select a sketch plane. I'm going to click on that. So now you can see that this sketch 1 is resting on this top work plane. So it's like a big sheet of paper sitting on a table. I'm going to go to the view cube. I'm going to change to top. And so now I want to draw some sort of shape. The easiest shape to draw is a rectangle. So I'm going to click on rectangle. And I always want my first thing that I draw coming from the origin. So I'm going to click on the origin, and I'm going to click somewhere out here. Now, at this point, if I wanted to, I could type in some number here, and it would lock this side into that unit. So 150 millimeters in this point. And I can, now it moved to this one. I can type in 100 millimeters there and hit enter. And so now you can see that it's add these dimensions, and that's locked in. Let's say I wanted to change that. Well, what I could do is, right now I'm still in the rectangle command. So if I click right here, it's going to start drawing another rectangle, which I don't want. So if you hit escape, it'll stop that command. You'll notice that this won't be in blue anymore. And I can double click on this 100 and change it to something like 75. And you can see that these dimensions actually change the size and shape of the drawing. Okay. So I'm happy with that. So I'm going to click the check mark, and I'm going to use my view cube to switch back to a 3D view. And I'm going to use Extrude to make this 3D. So solid or surface, we want a solid. This is the first thing in this drawing, so we want to create a new solid. It says faces and sketch regions to extrude. Well, I want to choose this square or this rectangle. It's going to be a blind. We can talk about these in the future, but most of the time we're going to be doing a blind extrusion. And we want to change the depth to, I want to make it 50. And I hit enter, and you can see that it went up. Maybe I want that even more. Maybe 75. Hit enter, and you can see it's changing. You can also grab this little arrow on top, and you can change the size and shape of it with that. Okay, so I like 40, so I'm going to change this to 40 and hit enter. I like that. I'm going to hit the check mark, and there I have it. I'm going to look at the top. Yep, that looks really good. So the next thing I want to do is I want to put stuff on this. Okay, so maybe I want to cut a hole through part of this. So I'm going to select this face, and I can draw a new sketch. Remember, a sketch is like a piece of paper on this surface. because a surface can also be like a work plane. A surface is also a table. So I'm going to right click and I can start a new sketch this way by going up here to New Sketch. The other way is coming over here and clicking Create New Sketch. And so now you can see that I have Sketch 2 already on the surface that I chose. I'm going to click Top, and now I'm just going to draw a circle in here. When you type a circle, or when you put a circle in and you click, you'll see that there's always a number in a rectangle. This is the size of the circle. So you can type in a specific size. When I hit the check mark, that means my sketch is all done. I can go back into a 3D view, and I want to cut this circle through this object. So I go to Extrude, I want a solid, I want to remove faces and sketch regions to extrude. I want inside the circle, and the depth, I made this 40, I believe. All right, that if we use our right click button, we can move this around, and I can see that that looks like it's right on the bottom. So I think it's just right. So I'm going to hit the check mark, and now you can see that that hole goes straight through that block. Okay. Next, I want to make something that comes out of this. Maybe I want a polygon. A polygon is like a pentagon or a hexagon. All right, so I'm going to click this surface, and this time I'm going to right click and go up to New Sketch. And I'm going to go right here to Inscribed Polygon or Circumscribed Polygon. An inscribed polygon is when you have a circle inside the polygon. A circumscribed polygon is when you have the circle outside the polygon. I'm going to choose Circumscribed Polygon. And I want to look straight at this, so we're going to click on top again. And I'm going to click where I want the center of the polygon to go. And then you can see that the polygon is inside the circle. All right, and I can move it however I want. And you can see that I can change the number of sides by moving in and out. So that would make a square. This is a triangle. I want a hexagon. So right there I have it. I have this polygon. And what I want to do now is click the green check mark. And I want to extrude this, but now I want to extrude it up, which means I want to add to it. I want to click on Extrude right here, and I'm going to choose Solid, Add, Faces and Sketch Regions to Extrude are inside this polygon, and I want this to go up 10. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to hit check mark, and there is my first drawing. I've got something coming out and something going into any shape. All right, it's your turn. Go ahead and make a shape and cut something into it and bring something out of it.